and BlackPopTV yet again. So welcome back. We're here again presenting another episode of BlackPopTV. Now my good man here, he's going to introduce himself in a minute, and he's going to tell you where he started, his name of course, and where we are now. So take over.
Thank you. My name is Boris Buono. I'm half Italian, half Danish. My dad's from Naples. My mom is from Copenhagen. I was born literally like half a kilometer from here in Nansensgade. I grew up there the first good 4 or 5 years of my life. Then we moved to the countryside. My parents are, let's say, hippies, 68 generation. And they wanted to have some fresh air and grow their own veggies and give the kids another perspective than living in the city. So we moved to the countryside, and I grew up with a herb garden, a vegetable garden. I grew up with picking herbs and fishing and all this stuff, using what I could find in nature. And when I passed the 16, I moved back to Copenhagen. I needed the city life again, and I wouldn't say fooling around, but I was trying different things out, like acting school and photographer and so on. And then one day I find myself in a kitchen, and literally I was struck because now suddenly I had something that I could throw all my energy into. As a kid with ADHD, completely overactive, kind of, it was really something special for me, both on a personal level but also on a professional level. That I suddenly realized that I had another language, that I had something that I could do with my hands, of course created by my thoughts and all this stuff comes together, and I became one. Like, I became really, really happy. I was like, oh my God, here it is. Yeah. That's what I have to do.
So tell us, where are we right now?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look behind us,
you see Copenhagen.
You see Copenhagen.
From the top.
From the top.
You have almost all the towers of significance. Only two or three is missing, which is in the Amager direction. But yeah, right now we are in my home. I call it my food studio or food atelier. Okay. I haven't really defined the name-wise and so on yet, but I have to. The more serious I get about living of doing what I do here. But right now we call it as Chez Boris or at Boris' place. It's a 90 square meters apartment in Købmagergade, which is in the very, very center, in the classic place, and in the classic area historic area of Copenhagen. Yeah. And I live here, and I live of seating 12 people, up to 14 people around my dining table. Yeah. And it's almost full every weekend, Friday and Saturday. People pay an average of 1,000 Danish kroner for a menu. Yeah. And so basically what I did, I cut off all the aspects which I thought were just which were in the way of seeing the raw kitchen, the raw materials straight on the plate. Yeah. I cut all the bullshit off, and now I'm serving and cooking together with my partner in crime, Casper. And we try to make humble and honest food, with more focus on the social thing of having a dinner together than necessarily the food. Yeah. The food is a key player, but should not take away the heart of the meal, which is basically being together with some friends or people that you like.
What's on the menu?
We're like freestyling a little bit. Just getting a little bit of all the good stuff. There's around for the moment. Like, good tomatoes. We got these fucking amazing green asparagus from one of our friends called Madsen.
Wicked, man.
You know, just
So nice and green.
just eat them like.
So you're preparing for what's happening this evening?
Yeah, we're having a little gathering with call it Son of the Tennis. Where we just gonna cook for some of our friends, and you know, friends can meet up like you know a normal Friday night.
So where else have you worked, man?
Well, before I worked with Boris at Krogs, I was working 2 years at Fiskerestaurant in Kødby.
And Krogs as well, yeah?
Yeah. I was at Krogs for like 1 year with Boris, and then half a year after he stopped. And then 2 years at Krogs at Fiskerestaurant. And then before that I was at the Tivoli at the Paul Cunningham.
Oh, the Paul, yeah. We're going to visit Paul soon, next week. So who would you say is your favourite chef? Other than yourself, of
in
course.
Denmark it could be Paul.
Paul Cunningham, yeah? Yeah. Did you hear that, Paul? What is your, what would you say, or best describe, your regular comfort meal?
I think it's very important for your everyday meal to be cooked by yourself. It's very important to cook with the people you love. That gives another perspective on the eating part and the social part of it. And to create a good meal, you need to. It sounds very holistic, but you need to have this wholeness in it, and it comes from being together with people you love, having the best raw material between your hands you can get, and then apply not very difficult techniques, but well thought techniques, and apply your knowledge that you inherited through your life with working with the raw material. Yeah. That's what creates a good meal. And then variety. It's very important to eat different kind of things. All these different cures and how to lose weight and so on, it basically comes down to one thing. You need to eat a lot of different things.
Really?
And it's not good to eat a lot of meat or a lot of potatoes or so on. You need to have this variation. That's very, very important.
Interesting. My mother, you can maybe help the BlackPopTV followers understand some of the and know some of the restaurants that you've worked in.
Yeah.
Give us some names.
Yeah, I started my education at a little place called The Goal. It's in Nørrebro, not very far from here. It was very classic French, and I was brought up with the classic French head chef. What do you call it? Yeah, they are like
that style.
Yeah. It's really hardcore, and it's
a lot of swearing.
Yeah, a lot of swearing, and yes, please. But on the other hand, it's like if you play for Ajax football, if you're good enough, you'll make it to the first team.
Sorry, who are Ajax again?
Ajax Football
just
Club.
Joking.
Yeah, no, I mean if you're good enough, you'll go straight into the first team, and I was there for half a year, and then I came into the hot station, and normally it will take you 1 or 2 years at least as an apprentice.
After that, where did you go?
After that, I went to Formel B, which is a 1-star Michelin restaurant. Yeah, and I finished my education there in 2004. Straight after that, I became head chef in a restaurant in Skagen, the north of Denmark.
Okay.
Lovely place, beautiful place. I was there for 1 season, and under my apprenticeship, I've been working in Noma part-time and in various different very famous restaurants in Copenhagen. So when I came back, I got a position as a junior sous chef in Noma, and I was there for from 2004 winter.
What was it like working in Noma? I mean, just to stop you, this is probably going to be watched by a lot of people all over the world who probably never heard of Noma restaurant. Apparently, it's one of the most famous restaurants in the world. It's a Michelin star restaurant. I'm sure our host here today will fill you guys into what a Michelin star restaurant and what Noma is like.
Yeah, first to say that in current years there's been like a dividing in terms of high society in the gourmet business. There is one part which is the San Pellegrino 50 best restaurant list, which is now up to the 100 best restaurants.
Even I've heard of that.
Yeah, and then there's the Michelin. And Michelin is the traditional, very hard to get 3 stars. You need to have a certain setup, which is, I enjoy going to those classic places in Paris and so on and get that proper 3-star Michelin service with the white gloves and all the stuff. But on the other hand, there is another group of more or younger head chefs with another perspective, which are very creative and creating a lot of really interesting and moving the barriers for food. Like the first runner was Ferran Adrià, of course, for Bouilly, but surely René, he has lately, the last couple of years, been the biggest stars. And working there in Noma, it was like it was an adventure. We moved into places where people haven't been before. That's the best way I can describe it.
What would you say is your out of everything, what's your worst kitchen disaster?
I've had a couple of disasters. One kind of disaster is when you forget a group of guests or something. They disappear in the book and suddenly they turn up 40 people for a 3-course dinner and you have nothing in your fridges. But then you do your magic, and I've always come out on top of these things. I've tried it a couple of times, and once I was not in Denmark, so there was no it wasn't possible for me to do anything, and fortunately it was a smaller group and I arranged they could go to a restaurant, so I saved it in a way, but that was really bad. But my worst disaster in terms of my career and so on, in 2008 I opened up 2 Italian restaurants, 2 trattorias called Bottega, with pizza forno a legna. That means pizza like they do in Naples, baked in a wood-fired oven.
Love that.
And frankly, the success was too big for me. Okay. I moved too fast. I couldn't cope with it. We have a queue for the first 3 months for 20-30 meters at 7 o'clock every night in front of the restaurant. It was amazing. It was really something special, and people still talk about it. And I have a lot of former employees who still ask me when do you reopen again so we can come and work for you. But unfortunately, after 2 years, I went bankruptcy with it, and I can't point the finger anywhere else than right here, because you can come up with a lot of excuses, and the economy wasn't supposed to be my part of it, but nevertheless, I invested in it. I was the man behind it, and I lost the 2 businesses, and I lost some money, but that was not the worst. I lost that idea that I've always seen as the safe one, the one I will pull out when I thought I was ready for it, and then in the end I go bankrupt with it.
Okay. I've always heard that chefs have certain hands.
Yeah.
Could you show everybody your hands? And then the palm of them as well? That's chef's hands.
Yeah.
Serious.
I would say my hands are not classic chef's hands.
Why would you say that?
Because chef's hands are normally more rustic, I would say. And that's why they always put me in the cold kitchen and in the desserts, because I have certain elegance with my hands, I would say.
Interesting.
At least the girl says so.
You heard
Hands
it.
are the most important, guys. With the hands, you can control everything.
Live and direct. Now the next question is this: if you were stranded on a desert island,
Yeah.
right, what 5 foods would you want with you?
Oh, 5 foods. I would say eggs. One thing very important, because with the egg comes a chicken as well. That would be the most important protein for me. And then I would say the other 4 would be veggies, definitely. Tomatoes, lovely, pretty good to, always good to have. And if you are stranded in an island and the climate is for it, tomatoes is very easy to grow. Then I would say certain herbs maybe parsley or something like that, because it's so healthy for your body, and it has it has a lot of cleaning things in it. So it cleans out your body. So parsley would be very important. Then I would say something like wheat or something like that. So no, but we would definitely be in the veggie category.
Veggie, yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And then with the eggs as a protein, because with chicken and eggs, you can survive.
Okay, so if you were executed tomorrow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What would your last meal be?
My last meal
Yeah.
would definitely be something with fish, maybe crab or something like that. Shellfish, yeah.
And how would you want it?
Grilled shellfish with just a lot of lemon and freshly sprinkled parsley and green salad on the side.
Oh my
And
God!
then with my fingers.
God! Stop it! Stop! Oh my! Who, from your memory, in Denmark, is the most interesting person for you at the moment in Denmark?
At the very moment, I would have to name two, actually. I would have to name Lyttle Rouge, Buda, Torsten Jacobsen, and TOM, Thomas Bertelsen. They just came out with a new record like 1 month ago. Buda is a very, very close friend of mine, and TOM as well. And I think their music style is something very unique. And not many people know that Buda and TOM are maybe among the very, very best producers within electronic music. And they have made edits which are amazing. They have an international sound, and they're of course very good friends of mine. I could name so many interesting people because I have two hobbies. One is cooking and the other one is interesting people, and that's what I live for. And that's why I also made this restaurant this way, because now I can separate the uninteresting people out and only cook for people that really cares and I find interesting. But these two guys, I think right now on the Danish scene, when we talk about creativity and so on, they are the most interesting right now. Buda was named upfront DJ of this year, and he's in his good 40s, and he's being the upfront DJ, but he's so connected to his youth, and I hope I can be the same, because that's something which keeps you young and fresh.
Indeed, it does. Indeed, I've got to agree with my good man. I love music. I don't know what I'd do without music.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear that, and we're going to go and check those guys out.
Check them out.
We're going to take the camera there.
Yeah.
BlackPopTV will be there, because we also, every person that we interview, we always ask them, who's your most interesting person in Denmark?
Yeah.
And then we go out and reach out to those people as well, and tell our viewers and show our viewers who they are.
Yeah.
So they can reach out to them as well. So thank you so much. We're going to wrap this up. Yes! Big shout. Big blue. And cut.